Do you want to hold the Care Bear?
I'm sure. Care Bear for caring.
What does it mean to be alone? For some, solitude is a time to recharge, reset, and reflect.
My name is Emi Braithwaite. Most people just call me Emi. And I think there's a big difference between being alone and being lonely.
So let's talk about how being alone charges your battery.
As in the sense of rejuvenating. How I rejuvenate is by not having social stress. And so with my friend and I, we can literally just sit there and just be alone together. I think includer can be quite impactful with alone because lots of times you can't only think about yourself being alone, but thinking about other people being lonely. So lots of times that's when I jump in and I'm like, hey, how have you been? Like, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Or if I don't even know them, like, it's like a group project or something, I can be like, hey, what do you think about this topic? Because oftentimes we bounce off each other's ideas, which is a great thing, but we leave the people who aren't like natural bouncing off ideas, and we leave them to just sit there, and it ends up making them feel like unincluded.
Because even as an introvert, you are recognizing others and helping them get out of their shell to contribute.
I think a thing that contributes to that is just because I'm an introvert doesn't mean I don't like talking to people at all, because like if I just didn't talk to a single person my entire life, that would be quite sad. And so I think from experience, because I don't feel inclined to jump in and talk whenever I can. I feel inclined to listen.
Help parents or teenagers that listening to this know what to do.
So I feel like lonely, oftentimes, like when we're lonely, our brains are like, we're so alone, like nobody loves us, no one even sees us. And I feel like the best way to feel not alone is to go to things. I know it sounds kind of strange, like go to things, what does that even mean? But like, I wouldn't want to go do anything at all, or you don't have fun. Showing up and getting that experience is better than just not doing anything. And because of that, like, I become closer to like my neighborhood, and I notice people notice you more when they see you more. And they're like, oh, this person, I have a lot of things in common. Like, I see them all the time. Like, why I should go talk to them. And so I feel like that can help you, because I noticed when you think about people, instead of thinking, oh, they don't notice me, instead say, oh, I'm noticing them. Like, it goes into, like, you have a lot of FOMO, and you're like, oh, no, like, everyone's having fun without me, but, like, nobody knows me, so I can't talk to them. But instead, you gotta think, like, oh, people are having fun. I want to have fun, so I should go talk to the people having fun. And so I'll just go and stand there and listen. And oftentimes, when you stand next to them, like the group like opens in a way that you can stand there. And then you can listen, and like there might come up something like, oh yeah, Spider-Man's so awesome. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I love Spider-Man. And they're like, oh, you do? And so then it forms a connection.
That is such includer of you. Like, I love that you have witnessed that opening of the circle. I don't think that's a common thing for people. I think that that's unique to the talents that you have.
They need connections. We need to start it, because nothing starts without some person intentionally starting it. Like, it doesn't just happen. So I was like, oh, we need to invite them to Taco Tuesday. Like, the moment they're like, we're your ministering teacher, I'm like, Taco Tuesday. I need to tell them. The whole time I was thinking, I'm like, how can I do this? Because of my introvertedness, I really don't like know how to start conversations that much. And like, because I don't always enjoy starting conversations, but I know I need to invite them. And so that means I have to have a conversation. I can't just be like, come to Taco Tuesday and then walk away. I was like, oh, I know who's really good at starting conversations, my mom. So as soon as they were done talking, I tried to do it by myself, but then like, I don't want to interrupt them. And like, it turns into a little thing. And then, oh, Mom is really good at inviting people. So I ran down the stairs and I'm like, Mom, we have to invite them to Taco Tuesday right now. Like, right now. And so, you're like, okay. So then we go. and you start talking to them, because I feel like starting conversations starts, but you started talking to them, and then you were like, hey, Emi, you would like to invite them? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yes, I would. And so then I was like, hey, you want to come to talk to us? And they're like, of course, that would be amazing. And I'm like, I know.
That's awesome. I want to point out a couple of things in that story that just happened. Is first, you sought help. Somebody that had, and communication is one of my top 5. The other thing that I want to point out to those listening is I could have just gone and invited them, but I know that it's actually a skill that you can learn. And I think that there's this trust that you and I have, that you trust that I'm going to help you and I'm not going to embarrass you most of the time. And I trust that when you've come and asked me for help and you're like, this needs to happen right now, that it is true. But you're not telling me to do it. You're actually requesting like the assistance to be able to do it yourself. And one day I know that you'll be able to lean on the faith of my communication skills and do it yourself. And that's how you did with that circle opening up and seeing somebody.
Going back to includer, I remember distinctly thinking in my brain from that day, I'm like, every time I'm going to hang out with someone, I'm going to invite at least one other person. Like in my brain, it went ding. And like I do it every time. And from that day, I'm like, I always want to invite people to come with me, because not only do I not like going alone, but also like other people don't like being alone. So
that's really impactful. I really like how it's like something in your brain that turned on of I have felt this and they have felt this and we can feel this together.
I think about all the time where it's from a Barbie movie.
Yes.
I think. And there's one point where the evil queen, she's like, they're like, oh, she's so evil. Like, why can't she just let us do what we want? And it turned out that the whole reason she was like mad was because her friends went to something and didn't invite her. And because they're like, oh, I know for a fact you're going to be busy that day. It's like, I didn't want to invite you because like I knew you're going to be busy and you couldn't come anyway. And so that to my little 6-year-old brain was like, what? They didn't invite her? Now I think about it all the time, and like people are like, oh, they're going to be busy, so we should just not invite them. And I'm like, no, that's mean. Like, we have to invite them no matter what. So there's oftentimes...
Well, and I think it allows them the opportunity to say yes or to say no.
Yeah.
It's not your choice for that. It's their choice.
Thank you for joining us on this JOYrific podcast.
If you're enjoying the discussion, stick around. You'll find an extended track where we continue the conversation, unfiltered, unhurried, and full of extra insights. JOYrific is supported by you. If you love the podcast and want to bring JOYrific into your home, office, or classroom, check out our JOYrific magnetic charts, t-shirts, stickers, pillows, blankets. There's so much stuff. They're perfect for keeping communication strong and make great gifts for grandparents, grandkids, teachers, and friends. Visit www.joyrific.com to order yours today. Struggling with team dynamics? The problem may not be the people. It may be the process. The JOYrific podcast is sponsored by Jamie B, my consulting business specializing in strengths-based leadership training, operational management, and technology integration to transform teams and maximize performance. Jamie B helps build strengths-driven organizations through 3 powerful phases designed for lasting impact. Ready to unlock your team's full potential? Visit www.jmebee.com and start building a thriving, strengths-driven organization today.